Welcome back to Love's a Pitch, a podcast where people in the LGBTQ community put themselves out there in hopes of never getting ghosted again. Okay, that's unrealistic, but I'm just trying to connect folks who have similar wants, who might meet each other's needs. Is that too much to ask? I don't think so. But it is ultimately a conversation exploring relationships, desire, and dating in our community. I'm your host, Carolyn, and before we get to our guest today, I do want to thank everybody who came out to my Valentine's Gay Loves a Pitch show live in Brooklyn last week at Come On Everybody. Most of you listening haven't been to a live show, so you don't know the full extent of the utter chaos that happens. It's very different than this podcast. On the shows, we have 8 contestants. They come up one at a time. They give their pitch in 90 seconds. I'm very strict about that. We got to keep the show going. And some of them use that time to sing an original song. We had a great one that the winner this time, Madge, wrote. If you go to my Instagram at TGI Carolyn, you can see it on my reels. Sometimes people bribe the judges with homemade food. Somebody made a dubbed French film last time. We have judges, we have challenges, we have a burlesque striptease each time. It's so much fun. I don't know when the next one is going to be, but I will keep doing these shows. They are a blast. Maker's Mark sponsors it each time, which is a huge reason why I'm able to keep putting on the show. And that's what eventually led to this here podcast. On top of that, I've had a very interesting week in terms of my own connections that I've been making or trying to make, including my continuing journey as a Bravo influencer. So if you don't know about me being a Bravo influencer or what that means, and you want to learn more about it, well, you can head on over to patreon.com/lovesapitch because there are some things that I will only talk about behind a paywall. But I will say I had a really wild night and can't wait to tell some of you about it. Also, please head over to Apple Podcasts and or Spotify and rate this 5 stars or give it a review, hopefully both. That goes a long way to help this thing get noticed. It helps me chart, which ultimately advances the gay agenda. It's all for the queers. It's not for me. Maybe it's a little for me. Okay, I'm excited about this week's guest, who I met when she came on the Dyking Out podcast. That was the first time we ever talked, and I've been so happy every time that I've seen her since. This pitch has everything from K-pop to strap talk, so let's get into it. Okay, today we've got New York City-based Sheria Mattis, who actually once filled in last minute like a champ for a live Loves a Pitch show. You had no idea what you were getting into, did you?
Not even a little bit. Not even kind of.
Yeah, I try to let people know what it is, but until you're there, it's kind of like, what is happening?
Yeah, it's a difficult one to explain. You got to just be in it. You got to be in it.
Thank you. Thank you for doing that. Just had a show last night, and somebody who was a listener of the Dyking Out podcast, they were in town from North Carolina for work and kind of like timed it to come to the show. And I was like, based on how I've described it, was it what you thought it would be? And she was like, it's actually exactly how you described it, which is chaos and fun. Yeah. But it's just mostly chaos. She's like, I walked in, 2 of the judges were talking about how they took edibles and they were hitting during the show. And
who were the judges? Is it the same judges every time?
It's the same for the most part, as long as they're all in town. Kendall Payne, Jess Henderson, and Lorena Rusi. Just because I feel bad. If I were to swap out one person to put with the other 2, it's hard to keep up. But I feel like the 3 of them are kind of on the same wacky page.
Absolutely. Yes. Yes.
And have no problem telling each other to shut the fuck up or whatever it is they need to do in the moment. Like it's like 3 sisters separated at birth with 3 different moms. But
yes. It's like the kind of chaotic, like punk band energy that you want from a judge section.
Right,
from
right.
a judges panel. Yes, yes.
Except when they're asking questions. I think last night one of the questions was like, what brand of ukulele is that? I'm like, nobody cares. Ask a question about their love life.
That's part of it, though. That they don't have relevant questions prepared.
They're not relevant. Last night, one of the questions was somebody said that they're like into music and they were asked what are the top 3 Tiny Desk concerts. Like they were just assumed to be a Tiny Desk concert connoisseur.
I like it. No, I think that's a quality question. I love that.
Like I like music too. I think I've only seen 3 Tiny Desk concerts. Like
all the way through. Yes, same.
Right.
Yes. The Tank and the Bangers.
And obviously Lizzo.
Lizzo's great. The Tank and the Bangers one is legendary. That is like what Tiny Desk was made for. I will stand 10 toes down on that. I love that one.
All right. Well, that's a lot about that. Still not a fair question. I think to ask
that's
somebody.
Right. I just wanted you to know that I would be prepared. If that's what's going to happen at any point during this show, I'm here. I'm always on top of it.
I think that's the whole point of doing this is to not do that. Though I may revert, like when in doubt, ask people if they're a top, bottom, or switch. And this
is integral information.
It might be coming. Okay. It might be coming.
That answer is always ready.
Well, before you pitch, can you tell our audience, Sheria, how do you identify?
I'm a cisgender Black queer woman. She, her pronouns. I am mentally ill, Caribbean, and a comedian. I don't, that's, what is it? I should tell you enough.
Oh, that's great. All right. Well, are you ready to make your pitch?
Yes.
All right. Go for it.
Okay. So, hey, what's up? My name is Sheria Mattis. I am Brooklyn born and bred, mentally ill Jamaican American private school negress, and I am seeking someone on the. Usually, I like them a little mask. I like a stud, a stem, a non-binary fuckboy. Can I curse on this?
Yes.
That's just what I like. I am a bottom, but not a lazy one. And you know what? This is the thing. I'm different. What you get from me is something different. Bad bitches are a dime a dozen. But where are you going to meet a girl that has very strange singular interests? I like Christian horse girl K-pop and weird looking animals. And I like old movies from the 30s. You got to get me one like that. That's different. Try something different,
That's all. No, that's great. Sheria, you've honestly, I've had I'm scribbling down notes here of things to follow up on. Christian horse girl K-pop, is that like a subgenre of K-pop that I'm just unaware of?
I mean, it's sort of like inside baseball, the girls who know, like they that's what it is referred to as a certain type of genre of K-pop. Like, are you familiar at all with K-pop at all?
I mean, sort of. I was familiar with K-pop like before, not to sound like an idiot, before it blew up, but I grew up, like my best friend was Korean growing up.
Okay. What era is your era? Like Girls' Generation, Boa, what's your era?
Why am I blanking on the name? Because I would like import shit from Korea for her birthday of this like one boy band.
2 p.m.
HOT, was that?
HOT, oh shit, you said old school. That is old school. Yes.
Yeah. HOT, that was it. Big into HOT.
The first K-pop band.
I know. So like now, what's the big one that everyone's like crazy about with like the 9 boys that all look like androgynous lesbians?
9?
Well, I don't know. It's like a lot of them. I can't tell them apart. That everyone freaks out over. Like the big one, the big K-pop one.
BTS?
BTS. Yeah.
There's only 7 BTS boys. Okay. Come on.
When they're all in a group together, I'm not like counting with.
It's fair.
So I'm aware. even though it right now it seems like I'm not aware of BTS, I am aware of like BTS, their existence, the way that Twitter melts down when one of them gets a haircut.
Yep.
I'm aware of also like the K-pop fan trolling of like political thing, like all that kind of stuff.
Oh, I love that. That's the best of us.
But Christian horse girl K-pop, just give me a little bit of a description here.
The girls who know, they know like early Twice. Like my favorite group is G-Friend or Yoja Chingu. Those are my girls for life. Bring them back. That like the early stuff from them, just songs about wind and nature and butterflies and love. That's my shit. Like that's my shit. Like that's like, it's just very like sweet and happy and extremely feminine, almost to the level of parody. That's me. That's me deep down in my soul.
Okay.
It's who I'm not allowed to be in public, but it's who I am deep down. You know what I mean?
I mean, this sounds alluring. This sounds like something like if I go to... Have you ever been to Pelicana in New York? Pelicana Chicken?
Pelicana Chicken, yeah.
Yeah, okay. It's like my favorite Korean fried chicken place. And it's like you go there, they've got the music videos playing. And then like every once in a while, you just get like sucked in and you're just kind of like hypnotized and eating chicken. And like next thing you know, all the food's gone. I feel like that might be those Christian horse girl K-pop
You're literally
videos.
describing my ideal like disassociation moment. Like that's exactly what I want to be doing at all times.
Yes. I think I'm going to change my plans for tonight, actually. It's been a while.
That's right. Give up like me. Sit in your house, eat chicken, and watch K-pop girl group videos. You know what I like to do though? You ever go to K-Town and do like the norebang? The karaoke room?
Yes.
That's my favorite. I literally go there by myself and spend 3 hours doing a concert for my fans who are invisible, but they're there. They love it. They come just for
That
me.
is my dream. No, that I always think like anytime I'm really stressed out, I'm like, I should just rent out a karaoke room for myself and just like get it all on my, but I never pulled the trigger on it. But you
Because
recommend
it's so expensive to do.
Right. That's why I don't do it.
It's worth it for me. Like it's so healing for me. If I'm stressed and I'm like, I'm gonna actually snap and kill somebody.
Yeah.
I need some soft, pretty girl K-pop for like 3 hours and a bunch of soju. That's what I do. That's how I keep from becoming a domestic terrorist. That's what keeps me. And like talking to stray cats in the street. Those are the things I gotta do to keep myself, to keep everybody else safe. You know?
What's your go-to karaoke song?
It's gonna be Rough by G-Friend or Yurigusu by G-Friend. It's gonna be a G-Friend song.
Okay.
It's gonna be one of those songs. One of their early songs, or Nabilera. Something that it's about butterflies, it's about love, it's about dancing with your homegirls. Time for the Moon Night is another go-to. That's my shit, you know. Boa Girls on Top, if we really, you know, if we're getting a little G with it, we're getting a little gangster with it, like that's what we're gonna do.
I hate to rub this in, Sheria. But listeners, I actually invited Sheria out to hang out at Henrietta Hudson on Wednesday because they were taping for the new season of Real Housewives of New York. And we were trying to fill the bar with some queer cuties. And afterwards, there was karaoke. So it was like a bunch of comedians staying after and doing karaoke. And it was so much fun.
That sounds so much fun.
You were missed.
But I fear that would have been like the end of my reputation.
Yeah, you need to be in the room by yourself. You're not ready to go live.
You should see. Not something for people to experience.
There's like one Bravo producer they left behind, and they're like, "Is this person okay? Like, should we give them their own show, or should we make sure they're never on TV?"
Why are black girls singing in bad Korean? What is going on? I'm in pain about having to miss that because I had a hideous headache. I live whatever. But at first I was in more pain when you described that, and then I was like, you know what, actually.
It's probably for the best.
That's a good way for me to never have sex again. It's to get up on stage, sing my little heart out, and put a little Inkigayo concert.
Another question I was going to ask you, but I don't know. Maybe this has just been a demonstration. What is your mental illness?
Yes. Okay. Actually,
I'm just kidding. No, you come off great. That was for the audience. I'm not being an asshole. That was a joke. Okay, but you say you're mentally ill. What genre?
I have a few. Complex PTSD, major depressive disorder, little touches of agoraphobia throughout my life here and there, but that's mostly under control.
I feel like being raised in like New York, living your whole life in New York, I would be afraid of the outside too.
Yeah, the thing is, I didn't even live my whole life in New York. I also went to boarding school in Natick, Massachusetts.
Oh wow!
And that'll being the one Black girl in school at Natick, Massachusetts from the hood is a real culture shock. It does things to you. The white people were not playing. It was the 2000s. They were not trained yet. This is pre-2020 white people.
What was that? I mean, it sounds like a nightmare.
Yeah, it was a lot. There was there's one kid who, so me and my friends have this one group chat. We call it like victims of this guy's name because he's like, I did something all of but for me, he used to draw pictures of me hanging. He used to draw them and keep them around the school and stuff. We had a directory with everybody's names and addresses in it because that's smart. And he drew a map of my neighborhood in Bed-Stuy and like drew like bombs going onto it. Like, yeah.
And which school shooting was he responsible for?
Exactly, right? I'm so surprised that he never actually had it. You know what? He never got it together. He was never really focused enough to complete a school shooting. And that's really the only reason why I really stand on that. Because I was for sure like that he was terrifying. He was a terrifying child. Yeah.
That is insane. Like, I feel like he was too young to be the Zodiac killer, but that's
the only reason why he wasn't a suspect, because he really had that energy. He had like a kill list with like all of our names on him and everything. I don't know. He's fine now. He's a Blue Lives Matter, got a fiance. He's one of those.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay. I was going to say, have you found the LinkedIn? Like,
we found the Facebook. He grew up to be like who we thought he would be aside from the multiple felonies. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
He came out better than you could expect. He's just like a racist. He's just like a regular old racist white man. It's like, woo, thank God.
Wow.
Yeah. It was a lot. Yeah, the administration was not. They were like, well, why were you looking at his property? He's an artist.
What was dating like at this boarding school? Like, a lot of people, your formative dating years happen usually during high school. How?
To be fair, I mean, like, I think that's probably where I formed my taste for white women. That's where I had my first heartbreak, my first, sexual experience with women, first kisses with women. Like, that was at boarding school. So there's good and bad. But yes, no, I definitely, that's where I
knew there was a reason I wanted to go to boarding school.
That was what it was. Exactly what it was.
Yeah.
That was what it was.
It just sounds like a year-long sleepover. Yeah.
Yeah, it's that and it's not. Because it was like, it's that, but it's also like, especially when you're figuring out your sexuality, it's like, because it's just everybody's a little bit gay. And so you're like,
yeah,
is it normal to be this way? And then you realize like, okay, maybe I'm extra gay. But it also was like where I discovered Anita Franco. It's where I discovered it's where I went to my first lesbian bar that I had no business going to. It was like, like those like formative queer experiences, and I learned what the white lesbians do. I don't think I ever would have learned what y'all are up to if it weren't for boarding school. I'll have fun. Y'all have a good time.
I think that's up for debate. No, I think there's two types. I would say white lesbians have a reputation for the opposite of being fun, where but as like the past few years I've been like going out more, and I'm like, oh, they're having fun. You just actually have to commit yourself to having fun too, right. And then you find the other people having
exactly.
fun.
You just gotta look for it. You know, it's just a lot of acoustic guitars and strange smells. But once you get past that, they're having a blast. They're having a good time. Yeah. They're holding their hands. They're harmonizing. They're wearing the same kind of glasses. It's a good time. It's a really good time. I get it. You know, poetry readings and shit. I love it. I fucks with it.
And now you're into fuckboys.
Unfortunately, I'm trying not to, you know, I want to be a better person, but I also know who I am. And that's what I like. But I'm trying to not be into like, I'm trying to see face tattoos as a red flag and not an invitation. You know what I mean? And that's part of me trying to grow up. But no, I want to be treated right. I would like for once to be treated right. Yeah. That would be nice. That would be very nice. I would like to be treated right. That would be cool. You know.
I do feel like there's a reputation with studs and stems of being toxic.
Yes.
Is that fair?
Yeah, it's fair. Yeah, it's
all
fair
the studs right in. Fuck you.
It's fair as hell.
I don't want to get on their bad side.
It's not that the femmes are toxic, because I was no angel, especially like early college years. I was out here wilding. You know what I mean? I was wilding. And like late high school, like I was wild. I was so there's definitely, you know, I was a top though, to be fair. I think I was trying to be something. But like, and also femmes have their own brand of toxicity that they bring to the table. But yeah, sure, they be violent. They just be out here. They'll cheat on you right in your face. I think as you get older, hopefully that's different. But
yeah, it's a lot of like modeling toxic masculinity and
ding ding ding. Yes,
because you know you look around the world and that seems to attract hot women. So it's like, oh, let me try this, and then it somehow, unfortunately, works.
It works. Because you like the swagger, right? And the same thing that is you were attracted to attracts literally everyone else. And so it's up to that person to have like the self-control of Job to not, you know, on the fuckboy opportunities. You know what I mean? So I do understand that it's like, it's different. It's a different life, you know?
Yeah. What's the longest relationship you've been in?
That's embarrassing. Really, like a year, and it wasn't because I was in this relationship because it was so healthy and good. It was just like convenient. It was just like after like the first 3 months, I was like, this is bad, but let's just fucking stay in there. We worked together. It was a whole thing, and it was not a good. It was not a good. I have not been in any. Unfortunately, and I'm old, and I haven't been in any, I would say, purely healthy, like monogamous relation, like that like dream of a relationship that everybody says, and then we break up, and it was so like, you know, it was just, you know, it just wasn't our time. Like I've never had that. I've never had that. It's always some bullshit. I'm always in some bullshit. It's me. It is me. It is me.
You think it's you?
It's me. It's my type. It's the things that I fucking ignore. I ignored a lot of red flags. I have, you know, I worked through. Right. I have trauma that it took me a long time to work through to realize, like, okay, maybe that's not healthy. But I've never had that magical experience of like the perfect, happy, healthy relationship.
Have you ever looked back to people that maybe you pushed away who probably were healthy?
Definitely.
And been like, oh man,
yep, that
person would have been really good for me.
Yes. But for the same reason that I was like, that person would have been really good for me, but wasn't into it. You know what I mean? I wasn't into them in that way. And that's the problem. I do tend to lead with my dick, and it's bad. It's not good. I do tend to, the thing that I'm changing as I'm getting older is trying to be less focused on the sexual attraction and more focused on other things, right? Shared goals or other things that Ayan would be talking about or whatever. Like,
yeah.
And it's less. And so I have to stop doing that thing where I'm like, that person's hot. And then I like and then I'm like, oh, okay, step on me. Like, I have to stop doing that and start looking for somebody that's different. You know what I mean? Less excitement.
Yeah. I think it's a balance.
Yes.
Right. Because you still need to have that.
Sure.
Like, there still has to be that like strong chemistry that's gonna keep you in there.
Yes, I think so.
And hold your attention. Because
I've tried it, and if I get bored, it's hard to make it through even like a small irritation if you are that attracted to the person. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But my problem is like, I can't just do a little bit. I'm like, like, and then it becomes like I block out everything else because, you know, the sex is amazing or the fucking, you know, the ass is fat as shit. Like, it's not, that's not the focus. That shouldn't be the focus. Yes, she got a fat ass, but she's mean. Walk away. Walk away.
I mean, you mentioned looking for someone with like shared goals. What kind of goals or values do you think that you need to put a little bit more emphasis on?
Nigga, I don't know. That's something I'm supposed to.
These are hard questions. I think it's very hard to know what you want and what you need.
You know what? Like, this is a thing. Unfortunately, I am a comedian, and like my life right now is focused on like trying to make that nonsense work. And I think what I want is something incredibly selfish and not fair to the other person, but that I have seen with other comedians with partners is like that person whose goal is also to support you and make sure you stay on your shit and are on top, you know what I mean? Like Gabe Gonzalez and his boyfriend, they have like this perfect thing where like they're both about that grind. They're both like, of course, he has his own life, but like, you know, when he's struggling, he's there to help him finish his pilot. You know, he's there to help him record his set, you know, like I like that. I love that, but I don't know if that's realistic for everybody. You know what I mean?
I feel like that's what I found. And that was the difference. Like with my ex-wife was very much not supportive of me doing comedy. And in all fairness to her, I was not doing comedy when we got together. I was like in a PhD program when we got married. We had a very different vision of what life was going to be. Yeah. And then I flipped the switch and was like, no, actually, this is who I am, unfortunately.
Yes, that's fair.
But I'm so sorry. When she's like, I want to be married to a comedian.
I thought I was going to be married to a professor. What happened? This is not happening.
Yeah. And like, it's a very different lifestyle. But with my wife, like she's not a comedian, but she's a creative person. So she gets it. And I feel like she's always looking out for me and being like, what do you need to do the things that you need to do to be creatively fulfilled? How can I support you? And she does her own thing too. And she has like her own life and her own talents and pursuits. But she's also like very, very like mindful because she knows that for me to be my best self, I need to be like doing my thing.
Yes. Sometimes you got to come home at 3 a.m. You know what I mean? Like that. Are you cool with that? You know what I mean? Or are you not just cool with that? Are you able to handle that? Do you have your own passions that can work with that? You know what I mean? Like Gabe's boyfriend helps edit his pilot. Like I would love that. That is something I could show you you could help me. Like that would be, and you enjoy that. That is also creatively fulfilling for you. Like that's amazing.
Yeah.
But
she designs all my flyers. She does all my artwork.
That's what I'm talking about. Are y'all looking for a third? That's what I'm talking about. Honestly,
we are, Sheria.
This is honestly what I've been thinking lately is that maybe my best bet is to be a third. Maybe I'm meant to be a third. I think it works for me. I can walk in like the wacky neighbor, you know what I mean? Like a sitcom neighbor, and then just be like, hey, you like be fun. And then I go home to my mess when shit gets a little too real over there. And I'm like, all right, I gotta focus on my real shit. I go home and I work on my shit, and then I come back for fun. Like, I think maybe that's my thing. I don't know. I haven't tried it. I think that's just how I'm envisioning it.
It could be. I mean, our experience in having a third has been kind of limited, but I think it's because the people so far who have been interested in both of us are people who actually are looking for a singular partner eventually. So then they start getting sucked into our world, and then they're like, wait, this isn't what I ultimately want. What am I doing? And then they just kind of like pull out. And I'm like, I thought we were all having fun. So it takes like a very specific person to be okay with knowing. I mean, it is a weird dynamic.
I wonder if I would also be the same way, if I'd be like, this has been fun for like a little bit. But like, actually, I wonder if the reality is not what not the fantasy that I'm envisioning it. But I'd like to try.
Yeah, I was gonna say, you kind of don't know until you try. But then, unfortunately, it just ends with like my wife and I getting dumped all the time.
You have each other. I would feel less bad dumping a couple. Be like, y'all be all right. Y'all was talking over. You got each other.
That's the problem, though. That's the problem, because that's how I feel. Everyone's like, oh, well, they're so in love and they're so happy, so it's totally fine if I like break their hearts. And it's like, no, it's sad for us.
Oh, back together. You know what I mean? You in your apartment together dealing with this breakup, holding hands. It's different.
Right.
It's different. I feel like I would. No, okay, that's fair.
Yeah, I would say the only good thing about that is like we can kind of affirm each other's experience and be like, no, that was real. Instead of like, if it was just one of us going through, we'd be like, was I insane? I really thought that this person was having a great time.
That's another thing. I'm really good at like mediating things as a third party.
Okay. Sheria's really selling herself here.
That aspect would be that's something that's good in a third, right?
It is.
You know what I mean? Like, no, actually, Carolyn, let's just be real. You was tripping too. You know what I mean? Like, I picture, like, you know, we could do that. We could do that. And like, and then when it's like, all right, we need to figure this out. I'm like, all right, see ya. Like, see ya, gang.
I think we're honing in on a new lifestyle for you. No, that actually is something funny. Not to, I mean, this is about you, but like a quick aside, the first person that my wife and I, it was never like an official throuple or anything like that. It was just like a friend that we were hooking up with. But unfortunately, sometimes my wife and I would get into fights around her, and I always felt so bad. And she was like, oh, I don't mind this at all. And she would like step in and mediate. And I'm like, this is wonderful. Like, thank you. Thank you for your service. And she would kind of understand both of us and kind of help us see the other person's point of view. And that's kind of like what works for us, is finding somebody that can kind of understand both of us in a way that sometimes we have trouble seeing each other.
Listen, and you got a nice house. Listen, I can do that for y'all. I'm trying to be the dream. That sounds nice. All right, listen, I'm sending my application. Okay, how does this work?
Okay,
y'all find them. How many times have you guys done it? Have you ever lived? Have you done a live-in?
No.
Okay.
It's never gotten that far because it just never. Only two people that had been kind of like an ongoing thing where we had to have talks about like what's happening and feelings. But it is something that now we're like going on dates with people together.
I love that.
Instead of separately.
Yes, I love that. The only thing is, I've never been good with threesomes. I've had a few threesomes in my life, and it's just because for some reason, every threesome I've been in, it's been like I've been the designated camp counselor, like I'm in charge for some reason, and I'm a bottom. Like, no. I don't want to be in charge of everything. You know what I mean? But that's just how it always shakes out. And then, you know, if nobody's getting it done, I'll do it, but I would rather it be sort of the thing where like, it's a fantasy, it's a different fantasy that I've never actually been able to execute.
Have the threesomes you've had been with two women? I've done
it twice with two women and once with a woman and a man. That was the worst. That was when I really had to do everything. And he literally was fucking useless. I was so annoyed. We had to stop, smoke weed. And then the other girl was like, I didn't really come. And I was like, well, obviously with this fucking bozo in the room, you didn't come. And so I was like, I'm going to finish this joint and take care of everybody here. And then he just stood in the side and was like talking. And I was like, what are you doing? You're just over my shoulder. I don't even like people over my shoulder when I'm cooking. Get the fuck out. I'm eating. Get out of here. Like, that was the worst. I think that was my last threesome. And I was like, this is it for me. The other two weren't as bad, but it was like, they both were like, you're in charge. And I was like, what?
Oh, that's so funny. Whenever we've done it, it's always felt like very just like smooth and intuitive. Like there's never been like, okay, who's doing it? It's just like we figure it out.
I'm realizing every time
I'm really selling us
that you live my fantasy life in so many different ways. You have this nice house and a supportive wife and easy threesomes. This is your life. I'm so jealous. It's amazing. Oh, that's nice. I'll try it again. I'll try it again.
All right.
I'll try it again. Yeah. You know what? I need to learn to advocate for myself up front. It's like the next threesome to be like, up front, I'm doing very little. I am just a baby. You can't do anything. Everyone else is in charge. I'm just here for the fun. And that will be, you tell me what to do. You tell me. I want to stop thinking. You tell me what to do. And then I think that would be a better situation for me. Yes.
All right. Where do you usually meet people that you date?
The fucking apps, which suck.
Yeah.
And that sucks. Honestly, the times that I haven't had like a proper relationship out of this, but the times that I actually like meet girls or I meet people, I like get laid is on stage. Because it's like they see me on stage, right? And they're like, oh, that's the personality. All right, I'll do that. And like, whereas like if I'm on a date, they're like, this is the personality. They have to discover it during dinner. That's way harder to get to the next step. You know what I mean? So comedy is kind of like, if I do a queer show, I got hit on at your show by a very young person, like very hot. But then they were like, I'm 22. And I was like, oh, and my knees hurt just talking to you.
Which show? Love's a Pitch or the
Love's
Stonewall?
a Pitch. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And they approached me so cool too, because I talked about desert rain frogs. I was talking about my singular interest at the moment. Desert rain frogs. Usually that turns the bitches off. That dries them up. But they felt me on that. And that was how they approached me. And I was like into it. And I was like, oh, you're just a child. Go do your homework. I'm looking for 30 plus, if possible.
30 plus. Okay. Possible. That's funny because last night after the show, I was talking with someone who was in the audience and they're like, I wish people volunteered their ages on stage because I have no idea how old people are. And this person saying this, I thought that she was like 23 and I think she was like 37 or 38. And I'm like, this is why we need to volunteer the information because I would have been, if I met this person in a bar, I'd be like, oh, you're way too young.
That's always my problem too. It's like, you look just like an 18-year-old and it's just like, oh no, I'm 78 years old. I am so old. I was marching on Washington in hooker boots. Like I have been through a lot of life. I can't be with these little kids no more. I just use retinol. That's all it is.
What app, like what's your favorite of the apps or the one that's like the least terrible, I guess?
Favorite is pushing it. Let's not. Favorite. Least terrible, I think, is Hinge because you kind of get to know someone a little bit.
Yeah.
That's, Tinder is just nonsense. Tinder is the thing that I do in my real life, but made digital, made worse, right? I'm like, hot. Like, that's not, no. You know what I mean? That's not healthy. So I don't do Tinder anymore. But Hinge, okay, Cupid. I had like a girlfriend off of okay Cupid. It wasn't long, but it was something. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I think the apps, I'm just not good at it. I'm just not good at it. It's the same reason why I'm bad at social media. I just don't have the patience to sit down and craft like a really compelling, thing.
Right.
I'm better in person.
Well, at the comedy shows, I mean, my experience, though lately I feel like I mostly perform on queer shows, but if I'm like at a club or something, the people who hit on me, like when it happens, not like it's happening all the time, but when it happens, it's always a really drunk straight woman.
Yeah.
Is that not your experience?
No, yeah, that's not. I don't waste my time with straight women. I don't do that.
Yeah, no, me neither. But I feel like those are the only ones who come up to talk to me and be like, wow, I loved what you said up there about women.
It's like, yeah, okay, girl. But you go find one of these studs that like straight women. I'm not going to do that. Yeah. But yes, club shows, that's the only, or men. You know what I mean? Just, waste of time. I don't even bother with that. I don't bother with that. But when I do queer shows, that's when I get some attention, if I'm lucky.
Now, if I remember correctly, because you were a guest on the Diking Out podcast, and there was a lot of strap talk, and that is an important thing for you, is finding someone with some strap skill.
Unfortunately, yes, but again, I think I'm going to try to de-emphasize that and more emphasize other things. But yeah, I mean, if I'm being honest,
yeah, it can't hurt. It
really can't hurt.
Listeners.
It would be great. It is just really nice if you have some strap game. If you bring your backpack and you know what you're doing, that's beautiful. But that is, I am trying to be less like that and be more something else. You know what I mean? I haven't found what the other thing else is, but it's going to still be that.
So you said like straight women deal breakers. What are some other deal breakers for you? Like, would you date a DJ? Like, what are?
I love that. I don't care. Just, you know what the problem is? I'll date a DJ, but and this is again why I run into trouble. I like when you are funny and charming and cool, like in a way that I can't be, right? If you like, like that. I like the ease. I like the fucking. Just have that, you know what I mean? Because people will be like, "Oh, you do like short hair." It's not that; it's the energy. Like, just have that vibe. Unfortunately, that vibe and that charm comes with a bunch of other bitches. Like, it's just you're always fighting, and I can't. I'm not gonna compete with a fucking gaggle of bitches. I'm not doing it. I will step out. I will just leave. I would just make myself scared.
Okay.
So I'm a woman without a country.
You're not looking for drama.
I don't like drama. I don't like a bunch of fucking, I don't like, so it's like be real, but also be like cool. And that's a difficult combination to find. And like, also, I like the swagger. I like but then I want to be able, this is the same reason I like cats. Like, I like that you're cool or whatever, but I want you to be intimate with me. I want you to be a princess with me. I want you to be, I want you to be able to, it doesn't have to happen immediately, but I want you to be able to be real and vulnerable and intimate with me. That's what I want. You know what I mean? I want to treat you like a princess sometimes. If you just let me treat you like a princess sometimes, you know what I mean? And not have it be a thing where you're walking all over me. I want too many things.
No, you have to put it out there what you want in order to get it.
Yes.
Yeah. If you don't ask for it, you won't get it. So if anybody wants to be my agent, by the way, and you're listening,
do you need a manager and an agent? I have a manager, but now I think I need an agent.
You have a manager, okay?
You have to get both, right?
It's like the agent books you the gigs, and then the manager kind of tells you which ones you should be doing, like what you should and shouldn't be doing.
A manager kind of just gives you homework, and I'm like, I just more things.
Right.
Like, as an agent then does the things to get you the things, right? Okay.
Yeah.
All right, me too. Find me like a vulnerable, decent, woke stud and a decent manager. Boom. And I think, wow, my life will finally start working out.
Have you ever dated another comedian?
I won't do that. I've wanted to, and still want to, but I just won't do it.
I feel like a specific one just came to your mind.
Several specific ones to my mind. There are several comedians that if I didn't have that rule, I would be throwing myself at their feet. Like, yes.
Right.
Yes.
I think it's a good rule to have. Yeah.
It sucks because comedians are around. They're funny. They get the life. They understand your goals. You know what I mean? It's kind of perfect. And when it works, it's so beautiful. Like, I love when comedian couples work. But when it don't work, you know what I mean? I can't gamble that. You know what I mean? I just don't want to gamble that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Have you done that?
No.
Okay.
Never. Yeah. That's a rule.
It's a good
for
rule,
sure.
Just work. It's too awkward. Like,
yeah. And then like people, if they know, they're not going to book you on the same shows.
I don't do that. I feel like I don't do that.
If people I know are exes, like I'm not putting them on the same lineup. No. Oh, yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Yes.
But then the other awkward thing, though, is when people are together, sometimes I feel weird about booking one and not the other. And I'm like, okay, well, I either have to like book them both on the same show or like book one this show and book the other one the next show, or else they're going to be like, oh, they're going to be talking shit about me. Definitely. And I don't want that.
Yep.
So if comedians could stop dating each other so that I could feel less awkward. Exactly. That'd be nice.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, no, you're right. There's multiple cons, but I get when it works. Like when I see a comedian couple and they're in love and everything is flowing, I'm like, oh, this is perfect. It's just, yeah. I think if I were luckier in love, I would take the risk. I definitely would. If I had a good relationship, a track record, I would take the risk. But I'm not doing that. I'm gambling with this money. This is snake eyes every time. It's fucking not.
Are you in therapy?
Yes, I have one of those therapists. I found myself a Black female therapist, and she's so hard to consistently book that I'm recognizing, like, because she's a good Black female therapist. So, and queer friendly and all those things. And that's really hard to find. But I think I'm realizing like, I need a consistent, every week we meet at the same time. This is my standing appointment with this one therapist who like, I don't have to go over everything over and over again. You know what I mean? But she's great, but it's not enough. I need a team, to be honest. I need a dedicated team of professionals on hand at all times, making sure that I'm not losing my mind if possible.
Do you like would you ideally want somebody who's also in therapy, or is that not important to you?
Oh, to date. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. Yes. I want somebody who is working through their trauma. Yes, please. Please. Yes. And who gets it. I definitely don't want them like, I don't need therapy. Fuck you talking about? That's not no to that. I've done that. No to that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Any other red flags?
I mean, God. My main thing is like, I want to be the problem. I want you to be the normal one in the relationship. And for me to be, I can only handle my mental illness. Let's do that. Or just like someone who's like, that's like what I don't like sometimes people's shit manifests in some biting ways that I tend to draw in because of my childhood. I don't want that. I want someone who, when there's an issue, you can speak to me respectfully about it. When you're going through something, you don't mind telling me about it. I'm there for you. I love doing that. I'm really good at that. You know what I mean? But like, I can't do the I have to figure out what's wrong because why are you being mean? Like, I can't do that no more. It's not good for me. It's just not good for me.
Good.
Yeah. I just figured that out. So I just figured that out.
Dare I ask, what's your sign?
What do you think? What you think, bitch? What you think? Say it. There's only two options.
Okay, the way you're saying it that way, I'm like Gemini or Scorpio.
No, but thank you.
Oh, okay. I wouldn't peg you for those, but the way you're like say it, and I'm like, oh, those are the ones that get the most shit. So
Oh no, just like from my personality.
From your personality, I'm not.
Really? I'm a Pisces.
I'm not
I'm the most Pisces.
Okay.
I cry every day. It's like exercise. It's like I have to. I'm so emotional. I cry at every wedding. I've been to weddings in Vietnam with people I've never met before in a language I couldn't understand, and I bawled my eyes out like I was their mamas. Like I am moved by great beauty, and you can hurt my feelings in a moment's notice. But that I'm a Pisces. Like,
Okay.
Yeah. Usually people either say Cancer or Pisces. Like that's me.
Cancer did cross my mind.
Yeah. Yeah. What are you?
Capricorn.
Okay. What is that? That's like, see, that's really why I'm single, because I don't know enough about the fucking signs.
Yeah. I'm still learning, but Capricorn, it's just like very practical, motivated, overachiever, competitive, that kind of.
I love that. I need some of that energy in my life. That's what I need. Some of that fucking focus, like do it motivation. That's what I need in my life. That and like Virgo energy. That's what I need.
Virgo. Yeah.
Some Beyonce energy.
I'm supposed to be very compatible with Virgos. My wife is a Virgo rising. And we met at work, so that's where it kind of like came. I found her very attractive because she was like super competent in her job. I mean, she was also very hot, but the competence
that was first.
Like,
that was hotter to you.
Yeah,
I like that.
No. Her physical appearance was hot, but then like because that's the first thing I saw, and then we started working together. I'm like, what?
I love that.
She's so talented and organized.
I love that. I love that. I like that. Yeah, that's what I would like. But I want somebody hot. I want somebody that gets me going. See, that's perfect. I should be looking for competence, though. I should be looking for competence instead of hot. That's what I should be looking at.
They can coexist.
I think you got the last one, though, to be honest. I think you snatched up the last one.
I'm holding on tight. Well, I mean, I feel like we have a pretty good sense of what you're looking for, but is there anything else, any other, like, talk directly to the listeners, like slide into my DMs if any of this hasn't terrified you. But I bet you aren't like, this is someone I can manipulate. No, get out, go away. No, not that. Just like, this interests me. This is weird. This is different. I might be interested in this, but I also don't want to hurt her feelings. You know what I mean? Like, slide into my DMs if that's what the tea is. You got a fat ass and you're not a sociopath. I love that. You don't even have to have a fat ass. Actually, I have to stop doing that. I do like something to grab, but it's not the most necessary thing. The most necessary thing is kindness. Okay. And yeah, you don't want somebody that listened to this and is like, oh, this sounds like a project. Like, you don't want to.
No, I'm never going to change. This is it.
Yes. Great. No, that's great. That is important to remind people. There are a lot of people that want to get in there.
You're not going to fix this.
And play with the wires.
You fix this. You need to come in ready to accept mess and be okay with it. I am working on my shit. I would love a supportive person while I'm working on my shit, but you're not fucking fixing a goddamn thing. There's too much here. There's too much that happened. Just come along for the ride as long as you can take it.
Great. And how do you want people to reach out to you? Do you want them to give you a follow and a DM slide?
Literally anywhere you can. Instagram, Sheria Mattis Comedy. Sheria, SHERIA MATTIS Comedy. Twitter, I check my Twitter DMs. Twitter, Sheria did that, and TikTok, Sheria does that. Just fucking try. Just hit me up. I'm bad at the internet, but I will eventually find your message. I am bad at the internet, though. You have to give me patience.
Yes.
Find me at a show. That's the best place. It's the best. I always connect with people better in person rather than on the internet. I don't get the things, the stuff on the internet as much as in person.
And even if you're not interested, let's say, in dating Sheria, you should go to a show anyway, because Sheria is so fucking funny. I mean, obviously from this interview, but like on stage, just such a great stage presence, so funny, just like scream laughing. I love seeing you perform, so highly recommend everybody give Sheria a follow. And if you fit the bill, you know, you'll have to let me know. You'll have to keep in touch. Let me know. Let me know if couples are coming after you.
Yo, I'm telling you, if I find something from this, I will pay you. I don't even have any money. I will pay you. I will pay you like you're a matchmaker, like you're an old lady yenta. I will fucking, yes. Couples, listen, help me out. Help me out. Somebody, please. Feed strap to a starving young Carolyn.
So good. Oh my gosh. Sheria, thank you so much. This has been a pleasure.
Thank you for having me. This was so much fun. You're so lovely. I love talking to you.
Okay, everyone, I think it's pretty obvious, but Sheria is a comedic force and is such a fun person to get to know. Every time I talk with her, I like her even more. I mean, the horse girl K-pop love. Come on, she contains multitudes, and I want her to find somebody who will treat her with the love, kindness, and respect she deserves. Is that you? Well, then you know what to do. Thank you for listening to this episode. Please follow me on Instagram at TGI Carolyn and follow the pod account to see clips and images from this interview at Loves a Pitch. And if you want to support queer love and all things wonderful, well, you can head on over to patreon.com/lovesapitch. There are different tiers levels. You get different things, extra content, ad-free episodes, whatever your heart desires. Except it's whatever I put out there. Anyway, rate and review this on Apple Podcasts if you haven't already. This podcast is produced and edited by Caitlin White, and the music is by Tin Mountain Audio. Thank you all for listening, and I'll be back next week, by which time I may or may not be in a throuple with Sheria.